This is the Patriots Drive Podcast.
We are all Patriots.
Where we discuss, analyze, and answer questions to all things happening in the NFL and with our New England Patriots. Now, here's your host, Cole Kelly.
Let's go!
Hello and welcome into another edition of the Patriots Drive Podcast. Today we got another mock draft, 7-round mock draft for the Patriots coming up for you guys, looking at some maybe different scenarios, trying not to do the same thing as last time, but we'll see how some of the situations pop up. But we're going to be touching on DeVante Parker as well. We just put out a video on that already, so if you want the full in-depth on that, go check that out. You guys killed that. That was awesome. So thank you guys for all the support recently. Like, subscribe, all that stuff if you haven't already. And I'm here with my co-host, Chase Campbell. How's it going, Jace?
It's going good. First live since we've gotten on here. We did the video, like you said, about DeVante Parker, but kind of a week or so have passed, and kind of get to wrap your heads on it. The more and more I see, the more stuff that I'm, looking at, the more I like it. And I loved it as soon as it was made. I think that it was a very good trade for New England. You get an extra 5th-round pick this year. You give up a future 3rd, which New England's going to get back because of the J.C. Jackson comp pick. So, sitting here, I think that a lot of Patriots fans should be super happy with this move. And I think that there's concerns with the injury history. There's reason to be. I think there's concerns that he still probably isn't a wide receiver 1. I think that he has wide receiver 1 capabilities, but that's a long ways. He's got to stay healthy. New England's offense has to change. They have to target him. You saw he was the 4th leading receiver in 2019. He has all the ability. He makes contested catches. He runs 4.4 speed. I'm excited to watch DeVante Parker play, and we're kind of seeing a little bit of him training with Mac Jones and some of the other receivers this last couple days in Miami. So it's going to be a fun group.
That's always exciting to see. Guys starting to get together, getting excited this early about the upcoming season. It's fun to watch. So seeing those guys getting together was cool. But I agree. I think he can fill that wide receiver 1 spot. It's a collective group. The Patriots don't have one true number 1 receiver like some of these guys, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams. Like, they don't have that guy. But if they have a collection of receivers that, if they can complement each other well, along with the 2 tight ends that we're paying a lot of money, this offense can still have success. Along with James White in the backfield as a 3rd down back and the pass catching back for this team, I think he's being underrated by Pats fans of his role on this offense, especially with Mac Jones. Also, DeVante Parker, like, the injuries are a concern, yes. But also, if you look at his numbers, like he was like top of the league in contested catch, like top 3 or 4 in contested catches over the past 3 seasons. And he's missed he missed 7 games last year and 4 games a year before that, something like that. So he's missed games, and he's still he's one of the top contested catch receivers in the NFL. He can go up there and get the ball. So it's exciting if he can stay healthy. And I mean, I don't want to jinx anything, but we saw Hunter Henry. He had injury issues. He came here. He talked about how great the Patriots training staff and medical staff was. Maybe they can figure something out with DeVante Parker, keep him healthy. One thing on our last video that I thought was interesting, a Dolphins fan gave their thoughts on it and commented. They said a lot of his injuries, DeVante Parker, is Tua not placing the ball correctly, throws behind him, he's diving weird ways. It's not like a typical. The Dolphins fan basically said that he thinks that Mac Jones being more accurate, better ball placement, hitting the receiver in stride, all that stuff, maybe can lead to less injuries. And maybe that's right. I think it's certainly an interesting point. You can definitely protect your receivers sometimes. And if you're throwing bad throws or depending on how you're utilized in the offense, that can sometimes lead to more injuries or his hamstrings. I know he has a lot of soft tissue injuries. So it's interesting. Hopefully the medical team here, medical staff can keep him healthy. Hopefully Mac Jones does all he can to keep him healthy. And not that I think that's like a huge part in this, but it's certainly an interesting nugget of information from a Dolphins fan who seems to watch most of their games. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, there was a lot of high praise from Dolphins fans. A lot of Dolphins fans wish that it would have worked out. Obviously, the 2019 season was great for him, and he's been a little disappointing since then. So I saw a lot of Dolphins fans that were, encouraging. They're like, this guy's, he can be a dude. Like, you keep him healthy, he can make some big splashes. I think another thing that's interesting is you're hearing that DeVante Parker, he wanted to be here. Like, he had other suitors, Dallas, Green Bay. He had other teams that were in on him, and New England pulled the trigger on him. And yeah, it might not be the big splash that a lot of Patriots want to see, but New England had a guy in mind. They wanted DeVante Parker. They were sick of him torturing them when he was healthy, because he did. There were a couple games, even in Stephon Gilmore's prime, where he came into Foxborough, or he was doing it down in Miami, where he would light up the Patriots. So I'm excited to see him come in here. I think that he's just another guy that, in another weapon that adds to this offense. Like you mentioned, Aguilar, if he can break out, we all know what Kendrick Bourne can do. Hopefully he keeps getting better. Jacoby Myers, and then add DeVante Parker to this, and hope that Jonnu takes a second-year leap. And I think you have a very underrated receiving core. Maybe not, top 10 in the league, but you have a very underrated core that can do a lot of work in a lot of unique ways.
Yeah, and I thought that was important too. Him wanting to be here. That it was a little not concerning, but I was a little curious why they were willing to trade this guy who has a ton of potential to a division rival. But maybe they really just respected him and wanted to grant him his wish of coming here. Maybe that had something to do with it. Also, I mean, maybe they thought, oh, this guy, he's got this injury issue. It's going to be a problem for a while. We'll give him to the Pats. We don't care about it. They're going to have to deal with it. So there's two different sides you can look at it with that. But it's exciting that he wanted to be here. I think him and Mac are going to mesh well. It seems like Mac now has a guy not named N'Keal Harry who can actually go up and get a 50-50 ball. He can be a safety blanket sometimes to bail him out. Mac had to be really good last year. Not a lot of separation from guys. He was a rookie. He had to be pretty accurate, and everything had to work out for this offense to succeed, along with the run game and the offensive line and everything. So I think this might give him a little slack of, oh, crap, it's 3rd and 10. Nobody's open. Let's see. Let's give it to Parker. Let's see what he can do with it. Another thing about his game that we've touched on a little bit is his run after the catch ability. He killed the Patriots on some 5-yard slant routes and creating yards after the catch late in games. Kind of like you mentioned, he's hurt the Patriots, and usually guys that hurt the Patriots, Bill ends up liking and finding a role for on the team. So I'm excited for this addition. I don't think he's a true number one, like top tier number one, but I think he certainly can be a number one for this offense if he stays healthy. He has a ton of potential. His skill set is something that this offense doesn't have right now. And I think him and Aguilar complement each other well. You got the size/speed from DeVante Parker, and then you got the speed from Nelson Aguilar and the deep threat ability. Aguilar also played in the slot when he was in Philadelphia quite a bit. So that kind of adds a little different, some more versatility to this offense. You can put DeVante Parker on the outside. Maybe you can put Nelson Aguilar in the slot and run some vertical routes out of the slot, or run whatever he wants out of the slot. You can mix and match those guys a little bit in different situations. It's going to be too hard outside threat receivers to cover, especially when you got Jacoby Myers, Kendrick Bourne, Hunter Henry, Jonnu, James White, all in the middle and in the flats of the field. I think this offense is going to be tough to stop if we can protect Mac and keep a solid run game going. Yeah, keep these guys healthy.
That's the thing that we talked about, though, is we talked about yards after the catch, and our receivers didn't have much of that last year. And I think that that's another thing that DeVante Parker brings, and hopefully Kendrick Bourne, guys like that, can continue to improve on that. But getting the ball in their hands in simple ways and letting them make plays after. So I'm excited to see him come on here too. Just give the extra boost and push to Mac Jones, let him get that leap. And like I said in the clip that we did, I think that it almost makes it more likely that now, I think Harry's probably gone. I think we can assume that. Hopefully, cross your fingers. Let's go. And then, if they feel comfortable with a receiver in the draft, maybe they have a guy fall to them at 21, which I don't think they're looking receiver in the first round. Then they can dump Aguilar's salary and save some money on that, even though he's only on the books for one more year, and, maybe develop a guy more on Mac's timeline. So I think that it does, give them a lot of options in that receiving core, like you mentioned, though, where they can, do a lot of different things and be creative with the offense and how they run routes, how they, structure their passing game, running game. He's a big bodied receiver too. I'm not exactly sure how well he is in the run game as a blocking receiver. I would imagine that he's got something to him. And, we're going to get rid of the best blocking receiver of all time in N'Keal Harry. We're at least replacing him with someone that is competent.
That's true, and you know what? That's important. As long as he can block, he can be a good receiver for this team, just like N'Keal Harry. If he can block as good as N'Keal, we're set. We got our wide receiver of the future. No, Jacoby Myers is a great blocker too, but he can actually run routes and catch the football, unlike N'Keal Harry. So that's usually what you want out of your wide receiver. Good question here. What type of wide receiver should they target in the draft? Contested catch, speedster, slot, etc. So this is a interesting question. I don't think contested catch. I don't think big body receiver like that. I think speed. Obviously Jameson Williams, if he's on the board, that's something you got to look into. Nelson Aguilar's on the last year of his deal. So another thing that I think that this trade adds to the Patriots is you originally thought before this trade, okay, the Patriots, they can't take a guy who has an injury history or who is going to miss some time because we need a wide receiver right now to contribute day one. Now you draft Jameson Williams, John Mechie, one of these guys with a little injury history who might be delayed just a couple months. They got time now. They got time to develop. They got time. You don't got to rush them back in there. Now you have some receivers and they can learn from these guys and make sure they're 100% healthy and ready to go. So I think a speedster, if it's a guy like Jameson Williams, would be great. Outside of that, and then maybe John Mechie is an option as well in the late second, early third, who can kind of do a lot of different things. I think a slot receiver would be good as well. We don't know the future with Jacoby Myers. This is the last year of his deal unless they come to an extension. He's playing on the second round tender this year. So that's an option as well. A true slot guy, if you find somebody who you think could be your next Julian Edelman and who's going to play the role better than Jacoby or whatever you want there. I think that's always an option as well. So contested catch, I think, is out of the picture, but speedster or slot, depending on which receiver it is, I think is certainly a way to go.
Yeah, the one thing that I always love and New England seems to love is route running ability. I look for a guy that's a polished route runner, can come in, run the whole route tree. Like I mentioned, if we're going to lose Jacoby Myers next year, which I sure as hell hope we don't, but with his future in question and only having a second round tender on him and not knowing what New England's future plans are, he's probably our best pure route runner. So if you're going to get rid of Jacoby Myers, you're going to want to replace him with someone that can come in, develop under him for a year, get good reps, and then eventually take his spot. So I look for route running ability in a lot of the guys. You look, Chris Olave is a route runner. Sky Moore is a great route runner. Mechie's a great route runner. So yeah, you talked about it. I don't necessarily, speed is always good, but we've seen too many times where teams, the Chiefs, the Bills, they've been shut down by teams that just sit in cover 2 and can get home with 4-man pass rushes. So it's always nice to have speed until it's not. And I feel like there's always room for a person on the team, on the roster, that can create them or can get open quick, can make himself available to Mac Jones, can take advantage of Mac's strength, which is reading the defense, throwing the ball accurately on time, and making plays. So I look for guys that are, maybe fit that slot role more than a true X receiver, because you look now, you're probably going to play Aguilar on the outside with DeVante Parker on the other side, and you definitely don't need another big-bodied receiver. So I agree with what Cole said. You're looking for more of a guy that can come in and learn under someone, Jacoby Myers or whoever that is, and if one of those guys is gone, he can step up and take his place.
Yeah, and also you don't have to force a pick that isn't the right pick now. You know what I mean? You'd like to get a receiver if you can, who's going to contribute. But if round 1, they're like, oh, everybody we like is off the board, but we still like this guy who's a corner or a linebacker or offensive tackle, they can say, okay, we're going to prioritize these because we don't want to reach on this guy and have another first round bust. We can wait till the second or third round. There's other options out there. It's not a number 1 pressing need. Like, we need to get a guy first round no matter who's off the board. Like, that adds some more depth to this wide receiver room, which is good. So I was a fan of this trade. It adds a different piece to this team that we were missing before. He's pretty much what N'Keal Harry was supposed to be. That's kind of what DeVante Parker is. He's making up for the miss on N'Keal Harry. So as far as the value goes, we touched on this too in the video. Giving away a future third, getting back a 5th this year. If you take the points on that and it's a future pick, which are less valuable in the NFL owners' eyes or GM's eyes, whatever, we basically gave up a 4th round pick ish, late 4th round pick to get DeVante Parker. We're getting a 3rd round comp pick for JC next year. I think it's good value. obviously I don't want to part with a 3rd round pick, but we're getting something back. It's not bad. It's a future pick. We're getting a 3rd comp next year, so we're still going to have 3 picks in the first 3 rounds. I don't think the value is bad either.
Muted mic, my bad. Yeah, no, not bad at all. I mean, when you look at it this year, you can use that extra 5th. New England was going in with no 5th round picks, a month ago. And the Shaq Mason trade, we would have all liked for them to get more. I think this is a good move to gain an extra 5th. Now, if they want to, go up, which I think we'll both talk about this in our mock draft coming up, but if they want to go up into the 4th or maybe trade up, maybe a guy's fallen in the late 3rd or late 2nd, they have this extra ammunition to go up and do it. Not only with whether you want to still move on from Isaiah Wynn or N'Keal Harry, there's still guys that probably could be traded for late round picks or used as something, but you're going to be able to use that 5th round pick, that extra 5th round pick, either on a player that can be a developmental process, come in, maybe take some reps year 1 and see what he is down the line, or you can use it as more ammunition to trade up and get one of those guys that's fallen, kind of like we saw last year with Barmore when he kept sliding and sliding and sliding. New England's like, hey, well, we're going to go get our dude that some people thought we'd pick at 15, and now we're getting him at 38. So I agree. Anytime you can get a pick this year, especially with the amount of young talent New England needs on this roster and needs to start developing homegrown talent, it's a slam dunk pick. Plus, you got a dude that's on a very team-friendly contract for 2 years and can come in and make a difference. So I think it's great value, and I agree. I love the move.
Yeah, I thought it was a good move as well. This is an interesting question we'll touch on real quick. With the new additions to our wide receiver core, would you rather add a linebacker like Devin Lloyd or a cornerback like Andrew Booth, Kaiir Elam in the 1st round?
Yeah, for me, I love Devin Lloyd as a prospect, and someone else is asking about Nakobe Dean at 21. I think that there's too many slam dunk 2nd or 3rd round linebackers for me to want to take Devin Lloyd or Nakobe Dean at 21. And if I had to choose, I'm taking Devin Lloyd. I love his length. I love his he tested a little bit underwhelming, but I don't think he plays slow. Like, he ran a slow 40, but he plays faster than his 40. Just off of film, he can cover, he can rush the passer. Nakobe Dean, for me, with his size, under 6 foot, he plays the position right, hard and physical, but I feel like Bill Belichick's going to look at him and say, we have him in Kyle Duggar. We really do. And I know he plays a different position. He's probably not as good of a coverage guy as Kyle Duggar is. So for me, both of the linebackers are kind of falling off of my radar at 21. And now I'm looking back in the 2nd, 3rd round at Troy Anderson, Chad Muma, Channing Tindall, linebackers like that are probably going to be there and are going to be way better value for New England, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you there, especially the Nakobe Dean thing. Nakobe Dean's basically Kyle Duggar, like you just said, at the linebacker position. He's smaller than Kyle Duggar. I think Duggar's better in coverage. Duggar already plays a ton of snaps at linebacker. They use him there a lot in the box. So I think Nakobe Dean is kind of out of the question for the Patriots. I don't really think we should take him as much as he flashed at Georgia, and he was good. That whole defense was great. Devin Lloyd, I'm a little bit more okay with just because of his size and his speed. So he can do a little bit more. He has the size, unlike Nakobe Dean, where if they take Devin Lloyd in the 1st round, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to be confident in that pick, because usually the Patriots, if they're taking a defender in the 1st round, that's usually worked out pretty solid for the most part. Seems to work out better than some of the offensive picks in the 1st round. So I feel confident in Bill's ability to draft a linebacker. But I agree with you. I think there's so much value in that 2nd round that they're going to say Devin Lloyd at 21 or Leo Chenal, Troy Anderson, Chad Muma in that mid-2nd. They're probably not that far apart on their rankings and on their board. So corner, I think, is what I'd go in that situation, which we'll get into it in a minute. I want to get towards that in a second. But before we start on that, Patriots, they've had some prospect meetings in the recent days. One of them was corner Andrew Booth Jr. from Clemson. Another one was offensive tackle Trevor Penning. So they've started to meet with some guys, a couple guys that are both obviously targets for the Patriots in round 1. Tackle, I think, is a need that people aren't looking into as much. And would I love to take a tackle round 1? Not necessarily, but Trevor Penning is a mauler. He's a huge dude. If he can be the future left tackle of this team, Isaiah Wynn's on the last year of his deal. He needs to go after this year. If they feel confident in Trevor Penning, maybe he'll play over Wynn this year, and then maybe you'll get your your dream scenario where Isaiah Wynn plays guard for the Pats and slides in there. So it's interesting. I think Andrew Booth, that's huge. Obviously, he should be a target for the Patriots. A good man cover corner who's got some size. He's a stud. We've talked about him a bunch. And then Trevor Penning is an interesting idea for them getting a tackle in round 1.
Yeah, they also met with an interior offensive lineman from Texas A&M, Kenyon Green. He's a guy that was getting first-round looks and still probably is late first-round looks. And, you look at it, and with our offensive guard spot right now, really only Michael Owinu is kind of the guy on the roster that you feel comfortable putting in there. And, whether, like I've said, slide Isaiah Wynn into guard, or you got to find someone like this, or it's someone that's already on the roster that you believe in, you gotta start looking at who's going to replace Ted Karras at that left guard position, or whoever replaces Shaq Mason at right guard. So Kenyon Green, Andrew Booth, Jack Jones, Trevor Penning. There were also 2 earlier ones. Cornerback Marcus Jones out of Houston. A little too small for my liking. He's 5'8", has very good PFF grades. I think he's interesting. I just feel like he's another Jonathan Jones, Miles Bryant type of guy. Too many guys on this roster like that. And then a quarterback / wide receiver, De'Aaron King out of Miami. So they've had about, 6, 7? That's 6 top 30 visits already. And, some guys are more intriguing than others. Obviously, Andrew Booth's the one that jumps out to a lot of Patriots fans. We've both loved Trevor Penning since the Senior Bowl and since he's tested. And I agree. It would be so Patriots-like to go and get a tackle at 21 or trade down and get a tackle, but there really is a need there. And with a rookie quarterback, it would probably be one of my least favorite picks, but I would definitely understand why they would make it if that is the route they go.
Yeah, like I'd be more okay with tackle than guard, because I think in round 1, like I just feel like the value of a guard in the first round, unless you think he's a stud, that's we have a lot of other holes in this team in general. I feel like tackle is a more pressing need, maybe a more important, I guess you could say, position. Protecting the blind side of your new franchise quarterback, that's pretty important. So I would be okay if they took Trevor Penning in round 1, obviously depending on who's on the board. Well, I mean, if there's a stud wide receiver, stud corner, maybe I'd be a little less okay with it, but I would understand. I'm more okay with them getting some guys in the trenches if all the guys we like are off the board, like a Jordan Davis if he's there at 21, Trevor Penning, those guys on the offensive and defensive line. There's some exciting prospects there. So I'm okay with it. I know we need a tackle. We also need a guard. We also need corner. There's a lot of needs on this team. Yes, we need a starting guard, but the Patriots have had so much success drafting starting offensive line, especially interior offensive linemen late in the draft, that I feel pretty confident that they can find a guy in the 4th to 7th round who can be a starter for this team.
Yep, for sure. Well, let's get into it. We've talked about enough, and keep your guys' comments coming as we do the mock draft, and we'll be able to sit and talk about each of the picks we're making and kind of what our thought process is with who's on the board. But if you guys weren't here last week, we are using PFF's mock draft simulator. So we're going to go through here. We are going to probably use force trades if we don't have a trade offer that we like, but one makes sense. We're going to go off of the little chart that we mentioned a couple episodes that kind of, gives each one a value. So we'll start here. 21 though, Cole, who are we looking at, or, some prospects that we would like to see on the board if we're not going to trade down?
Yeah. If you're not going to trade down, obviously, it depends who falls. I just mentioned a guy, Jordan Davis, is an interesting pick. I think he would shore up this defensive line. Him next to Christian Barmore is disgusting. I mean, you got a guy who can stop the run, and you got a guy who can rush the passer extremely well. Then you got Matt Judon on one side, and then maybe find another edge rusher at some point in the draft, or hopefully Ronnie Perkins or Uche steps up, something like that. So one option. I think receiver would be huge if there's a good receiver who's going to fit the system well. The Patriots don't have any receivers under contract past 2023. You need to find somebody. And the draft, like Robert Kraft said, the draft is a great place to build your team and a great place to start. So I think that's a great option. And then cornerback. Cornerback's huge. Like we just mentioned, offensive tackle is something they got to look at as well. Outside of that, if you like one of the linebackers, or if we trade back a little bit and one of those linebackers or corners there, that's an option as well. So there's a lot of good options. It all just depends how the board falls a little bit.
Yeah, and both of us are going to have a hard time passing up on one of those receivers if they're there. And that's probably the route we'll go. But I would literally be shocked if that's where New England went round one. That's just, I just the cornerback, the other needs, I would just be absolutely shocked if they did. I would love it if they
I would love it. Yeah.
But I think both of us can agree like that probably looks slim, especially after trading for DeVante Parker. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to kind of slow it down just for the first couple picks so we can kind of see who's coming off the board, if there's any shockers. So pick 1, Hutchinson, Hamilton. I'm going to actually speed this up. This is
up a
too
little
slow.
bit.
Yeah. Stingley, Icky, Evan Neal, Charles Cross, Walker, Sauce Gardner. So Jordan Davis comes off the board. There's your guy. Nakobe Dean goes early. There's Jameson Williams. So he's still here. The guy that we've talked about has been our draft crush from day one. And there's already a comment in here by Ryan saying Olave. And I don't know many Patriots fans that would be upset by taking Olave here. But the problem is if you take Chris Olave here, you're going to have to probably double down at corners or hope you get a guy at the second round pick, unless you want to just go in with the cornerback core that we have right now.
I love Chris Olave so much. I would like to take him here. You also still have 2 corners on the board. I don't know. With this trade, it makes me feel more confident in our wide receiver group that it can work out. If you take Chris Olave, I mean, our wide receiver room is set for the next couple of years. Like, I'm going to feel great about it. I'm going to feel awful about our cornerback room if we don't add somebody who's a top tier talent. So this is kind of the struggle here. Ryan says, screw the cornerback, get the wide receiver. Well, also Stephon Diggs just signed like a 4 or 5 year extension with the Bills. So you got to worry about him too. Chris Olave can't cover Stephon Diggs, unfortunately. So this is the interesting conundrum right here is, hey, do you get the guy who super talented receiver, guy who's got some speed, one of the best route runners, if not the best route runner in the class, instant contributor to the Patriots offense. I think he'd fit here really, really well. You get him, or do you maybe trade back a few picks, take a tackle, or take one of the corners, and you can add more picks and get another guy in round 2. There's so many wide receivers in the second round that I think the Patriots would be interested in as well. I think getting DeVante Parker takes a guy like Christian Watson off their board a little bit, but there's still so many guys that you can take. Some slot guys. You got John Mechie. There's certainly some options. So get a cornerback. Our wide receivers are working right now. The rookie you draft can't cover Diggs either. Yeah, that's that's a good point too. J.C. Jackson couldn't cover Diggs extremely well either. So there's not a lot of people in the world that can cover Stephon Diggs. But I'm saying you draft a rookie corner, you draft a guy who's got talent, who can be a number 1 in the next few years. That's huge. And I think that's kind of where I lean is trade back and get a corner. If we want to be different from our last mock, then we can see how it would play out if we got Olave here and then went there. But I like trading back, getting a corner, just trading back a few picks, as much as it kills me because I love Olave. I think a cornerback is a more pressing need right now.
The other thing that is being talked about, and we've said it before, is the depth at the wide receiver position in this draft class is almost as good as the linebacker class too. You're going to talk about guys, Sky Moore, Christian Watson, George Pickens. I think that there's some dudes, John Mechie, that can be taken in the second round if they fall to New England. So for me, I agree. You trade back, you get an extra pick. We're saying it now, but you know how mad we're going to be on draft day if this happens, if Olave's there, because that's what we all want.
And also, but comment here, Olave would be the pick if he's there at 21, but he's going top 15 in Pat's brass. Know this. I don't think Olave is going to be there at 21. Personally, I don't. I just think there could be a run on wide receivers. I think Olave is so talented. I don't know. I think he's going to be gone probably at 21. There's a lot of spots that receivers could go. It's interesting how this board fell. PFF mocks sometimes are a little strange, but I think Olave is going to be gone. I don't think the Patriots realistically are going to look at taking a wide receiver round 1. Maybe if a guy like Olave is on the board because of his great route running and his ability, he'd fit in the system so well. Olave would be the pick right here if we hadn't just traded for DeVante Parker. But I feel like they're going to wait to address that need, and I feel like Olave probably won't actually be here at 21. So I'm okay with trading back and getting a corner, going from there. There's more good receivers in round 2 than corners. There's some solid corners in rounds 3, 4, but I think a pressing need right now is corner above anything else in this draft range. I think Devontae Wyatt's an interesting option too, just for the defensive interior. But I think we trade back and see who we can get.
Yeah, and I like oh gosh, who was I just gonna say? I had a player in mind because it was people were talking about Alec Pierce from Cincinnati. If you're telling me Alec Pierce or Christian Watson, I'm going Christian Watson any day of the week. Just my opinion. Alec Pierce was a little bit underachieving at the Senior Bowl. He did test well at the Combine. The other thing here, like you mentioned, trading back, getting an extra pick, using that if you want to trade up. So I agree. I think we need to trade back now. Who do we want to trade back with? I'm pretty sure in the last mock, do you remember
who the Chiefs? I think at 29.
We traded back with the Chiefs.
I think that's risky if we're trading back here for a corner.
And
I think a spot.
Yeah.
Go
I mean,
ahead.
I think you're looking at Tennessee that would want to trade up.
Yeah.
You probably aren't going to trade with Buffalo. I don't see Tampa Bay needing to come up. I think that maybe Dallas would want to come up. But I think Tennessee's the most likely one here.
I do as well. I mean, I know they just added a receiver in Robert Woods, but AJ Brown, Robert Woods, and who the heck is their other guy? So especially Robert Woods is coming off injury, a little older. I think they could maybe be somebody who'd be interested in a guy like Chris Olave or trading that for a receiver. So I think this is a good spot. You're still not going too far back where hopefully one of those corners we like is there. So I think that's probably the sweet spot. I think trading back to 29 is certainly an option for the Patriots in real life. I feel like that's a little far back, especially the way the PFF mock. Some of these corners fly off pretty quick. So I think 26 is the sweet spot. As far as value, do you know what the value is here?
I'm guessing it's going to be 26 and 90. Now that's moving back 5 spots and getting a 3rd round pick. They don't have a 2nd round pick. So I think that when you're talking about that, you're probably going to get 26 and 90. Is that looking like it on your chart?
26. Oops.
What's 21 worth?
21 is worth 800. 26 is worth 700. And then 90 is worth 140.
So we're over 40 points. We are.
Yeah. Interesting.
So
then we would need to give up pick 127.
So our 4th round pick.
And we'd be overpaying a little bit. So maybe if you want to throw their something 7th in or something too to add to that.
What's 143 worth?
127 for the Patriots is worth 45. So that would put us
5 over.
And that 143 would be too much probably. That's 33. So you could add like a
204.
204. Yeah, and that's probably fair.
So that's going to give us an extra 6th round pick, which we can use to trade back up to get someone.
Yes. Yep. I like that.
Okay. So right here, this trade we're making, we're moving down 5 spots. We're getting an extra 3rd and we're getting an extra 6, but we're trading away our 4th. Now, mine and Cole's intentions both are to trade back up into the 4th, maybe the 3rd round with some of these late round picks and find a guy that's fallen. So I think that we're going to take this one right here. Brandon says, I did a trade with the Titans too, sent 21 and 200 for 26, 90, and 143.
Yeah, that's value wise on the chart. That's not. Yeah.
So
we'd be getting more value from that.
Yeah, we go off of a chart. What's the website? Pro Football.
You just go like NFL trade value chart. Walter Football has it. Yeah.
So they give each pick a certain point. So they're saying pick 21 for us is 800 points. Pick 26 is 26 points. So Tennessee has to make up 100 points to make this fair. So they give us 90, but on the chart that we're going off of, 90 is worth 130, you said?
140, sorry.
140. So now we're 40 over. So that's where we kind of, and it's never going to line up perfectly. We're within how
Yeah,
much are
just
we
in
within?
the range.
5 or 6?
Yeah, in somewhere in
So,
there. It's close enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are trades that people would like to see where you're not giving up 127. Someone in here says drop the 90 and take 131 and 204.
I'd rather get the extra third from in 90. I'd rather get that pick
because this is a 4th
2
round pick
fourths.
right here, which we're already planning on using probably 204 to trade back up.
Yeah,
and get 21 and 200 for 2690, 143. That's probably going to be too much for them. So yeah, this is a trade we're going to make here. It's fair in our minds. We already have a plan where we're going to trade back up. So we don't even plan on picking at 204. We plan on packaging 204 and maybe 170 or something to get back up. So we're going to offer this trade. We're going to see who comes off the board and see what we get in 5. So Devontae Wyatt, Elam, Johnson, Boye Mafe, and Chris Olave. So Chris Olave almost made it to us at 26.
That would have
So
been
now-
tough to pass up.
So now you're talking Chris Olave and Stephon Diggs on the same team. So
Yikes! Along with Gabe Davis and they added somebody else this year too. I can't remember.
yeah.
All right.
In a way, I kind of wish Elam fell to us
Just to make it different from the last one.
to make it different. And the more I watch Elam, the more that I look at his numbers. I really like him. His length, his press man corner ability, his speed, his size. I'm really falling in love with Elam. And I take both him and Andrew Booth here, but I think that we've talked about this. Does New England go to more of a zone press or a zone team? Maybe try to slow down some of the players that are coming into the AFC East, Tyreek Hill, guys like that. That's a way that you can pass stuff off and be able to be effective on the defensive side. Or do they want to stick to the majority press man? So I think it's interesting. I would probably do Elam over Booth if we were picking again, just because we took Booth, but there's really no other option here. So we kind of have to go Booth.
Yeah, in this situation, Booth is there.
Unless we want to piss everyone off and go Trevor Penning right here and double dip at 54 and 85, but you're not really, you're not going to improve your defense much.
Yeah, I like Booth for the pick. I don't want it to be the same draft as last time, but this is a good spot. He's there. There's not a lot of other options right here. You know what I mean? If we trade back, if Elam was here, like you said, I'd take him just to switch it up. But I think Andrew Booth is the pick. I think he makes a lot of sense for the Patriots, especially if you get to trade back and still get him. So just I think this guy's talking about Trevor Penning. I think Andrew Booth is the pick here. I just think it makes too much sense.
Yep. And we wish Elam was still on the board to take him, but we're going to take Booth right here, and then that's going to leave us off the clock until 54. So I'll speed this up a little.
Do you want to pause it like early second just to see who's there?
Yeah.
Like you could go a little longer, but
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any line. Oh, Sky Moore's off the board. Interesting. You can pause it maybe right
10
here.
picks. Yep. So
Travis Jones, he would have been an interesting option.
McCreary, Dotson, Daxton Hill comes off the board.
Sky Moore, all Patriots options there.
Yeah, Penning, obviously. So if you're talking receivers on the board that you're looking at, you're probably I haven't seen Pickens come off. I haven't
Christian
seen Watson
Pickens
come off. But now you're talking about what we just talked about, where we'd probably prefer more of a slot guy that can run the whole route tree. You're looking at bigger bodied 6'4" receivers that have really good speed and really good contested catch ability,
but not necessarily the fit. Like if DeVante Parker works out, which we obviously hope he does, you don't need a guy like Christian Watson right now. There's other types of wide receivers that would probably fit better. So I like maybe we wait till our pick and look at the linebacker situation, or maybe we trade up if there's a guy we love. I think one of the guys that we like should be there at our next pick at 54. You want to wait till that?
I haven't seen any linebackers come off the board. Troy Anderson, Channing Tindall, Leo Chenal, Chad Muma. I haven't seen any of those guys come off the board. So unless in the next 10 picks, all of a sudden all 4 of them come off, then I think you're sitting pretty getting one of them at least.
Watch. You want to go like 5 more picks, see if if there's a lot coming off, maybe we trade up. But just go. You can just go. It's fine. We'll find
Logan
somebody.
Hall, Chenal, Harris. That's fine. I've fallen off of Harris. Watson comes off in
Muma.
Muma. So
All right.
two potentials that we saw. Let's go look at who's on the linebacker
I like
board.
Leo Chenal a lot. I wish he would fall there. We probably would have had to trade up. Anderson's right there again.
Make the first two picks the same. No. Brandon Smith is an interesting guy. Beavers is a guy, but I think that these guys are more of third round guys. I would reach for Channing Tindall. I think he's a stud. His testing numbers, the way he plays the game. I love Channing Tindall. But the problem is you're reaching for him at 54, but he's not going to get to you at 85. So
you could trade back.
You could. I mean, we do have 5 trade offers. Do you want to trade back all 5 of those picks?
Who else is on the board for
just picks?
Just the whole board? Anybody interesting?
Pickens is still on the board. Parham is still on the board, which
that would be interesting.
Is interesting. That's a second round guard that we've talked about before. That, in my opinion, like I said, kind of the same with Tyndall. Is if you take him at 54, you get your guy, but I don't think he's making it to you at 85.
What can we get for 54?
So Atlanta wants us to move down 4. I think they 114. So that's looking like moving down 4 picks and gaining 114. That's going to be what, a 4th round pick right there.
Can we go a little further back? Is there anybody else?
65 to Jacksonville. Can't get 65 and 70. We could get 65 and 106.
Let's go to this fancy chart we got here. Let's see what this would be worth. All right. 54 is worth, let's see, where are we? 54 is worth 360.
Okay.
And then 65 is worth 265. Okay. And then 106 is worth 82. So then 197 we could add in there too. It'd be really, really close to even, like 0.4 away from even.
So we'd be able to get 65, 106, 197 for 54. So we're gaining an extra 4th and an extra 6th round pick, which we're already gaining an extra 6th round pick. And like we said, that's just more ammunition.
Early 7th.
Early 7th.
Ammunition to move up if we want. Yep. I think we can do this and take either one of those 2 guys that's there. And if both of them are there, take one, maybe go a couple picks, trade up again, and get the other, just to switch it up a little bit because we don't want it to be the same draft as our last one.
I think we definitely have to be more aggressive in this draft. We've gained. If we make this trade, we already have gained 3 extra picks, and we're only gonna have one
10
player.
picks. 10 picks and 1 player.
Yes.
So we'll trade up.
You're gonna have to trade up. So let's do it, and then let's let it roll. Are we good? Take it going all the way to 65, so 11 more picks.
What do you think? You want? Yeah, probably.
Do it.
You want to stop at 60, and we'll see where we're at. If one of them's gone, then maybe we'll trade up.
I did see Pickens go. Quay Walker goes.
Okay.
Pickens, DeMarvin Leal.
Okay.
So none of the linebackers have came off, and we're going to be the first pick. So let's just keep it rolling. Kinnard, Pascal, Esmoa, Martin Emerson.
All right. So one of them's gone, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If you had your eye on Esmoa, the 3 that I have my eye on, Tyndall, Smith, Troy Anderson right here would be tremendous value, but we already took him last time, and we'd have the exact same first 2 picks.
Yeah, I really do like Troy Anderson though.
Yeah,
Beavers is interesting. So the guard is off the board. You said, right? Did he get
no, I don't know. Parham? No, he's still there.
Okay, he's still there. So, what do you think about taking a linebacker, maybe taking Beavers or one of those guys here, and then waiting 5 more picks and trading back up and getting guard?
I like it. If I'm going to go with a linebacker, my first choice right here, obviously taking Troy Anderson out of it because we already drafted him. I'm going Tyndall over Beavers, but a lot of the comments are saying Beavers. Now, he's the big body. thumper that New England's typically have. So it's a little risky. Like a lot of people have been kind of down on some of those linebackers that New England's had. And I think the Beavers has had his struggles in coverage, and Tyndall was incredible. I'm trying to pull up his combine stuff.
I'm also, this comment says take Troy again. I'm also
Yeah.
okay with doing that because our next 2 picks are going to be different and the rest of the draft's going to be different. I would love to change it up too. So I'm fine with either one, honestly. I think Troy Anderson certainly would be the pick right here, but if we want to change it up, we can.
Tyndall ran a 4.47, 42-inch vertical and 130 broad. So that's almost an 11-foot broad.
How tall is he?
He's 6'2", 230, almost 33-inch arms and 10 5/8-inch hands. Now, obviously, Troy Anderson ran faster than him, but Tyndall was the second fastest linebacker at the combine, only behind Troy Anderson. And then looking at Troy Anderson comes in at 6'3", 242, so an inch taller, damn near the same weight, less of a vertical jump, 4 inches less on the vertical jump. Channing Tyndall jumped the highest, and 2 inches shorter on the broad jump. So more explosion maybe out of Tyndall, but you're going to get a faster guy, but not by much. 4.42 to 4.47 is really not a big difference.
Tyndall or Anderson? I'll let you decide.
Well, I know everyone wants Troy Anderson, and I think that people are going to be mad, but I hate having it be the same. And I think everyone in the chat knows.
I'm totally.
I think everyone in the chat knows that we want Troy Anderson. The only reason we're doing this is to give people a different option and to look at it. Because if you're telling me Tyndall or Anderson, I'm picking Anderson. But I think Tyndall is, a 1B right behind Troy Anderson, if not. So I'm going to take Channing Tyndall. Yep. I really like him. I think that you can't. I'm going to pause this real quick.
Oh, yeah, pause it.
And Troy Anderson comes off right after us. So no surprise to Detroit. But I think that you're looking at any Georgia defender is going to be a steal. Those guys were incredible. So yeah, I like going Tyndall.
Okay. So what are we thinking? Trade.
Well, we're not up for 16 picks, and I don't think Parham is going to make it that far.
His average draft, I think, was 73 point something. So he's not going to make it much further. So we got Parham, Cole Strange as options in the next 20 picks. Those are 2 good guard options. I think if we want to switch it up, I also think we can trade up for one of those corners. So maybe we make those 2 trades up and use some of those depth pieces that we just acquired from trading back twice.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's an option. I don't know where the guys that we were looking at usually go. I don't think the corner that we want is going to make it to 85. So we're going to have to trade up twice.
Yep. Who do we want to trade up with right here? Or do we want to let it run like 5 more picks?
I think he might be gone in 5 picks, the guard. I think maybe two more picks, go to the Bears maybe.
So maybe try to trade up with the Bears?
Yeah. Well, let's see. Make sure he's there before we trade. But
so should we let it run one pick?
Go change it to slow so it stops.
Weep. All right, here we go. Jets. Don't screw us, Jets. Lucas. I'm going to pause it after this pick. So Alec Pierce. So if we feel like the Bears are going to grab a guard here now, let's go look at what they have done, right? Because that would probably affect it. They take a corner. They take a receiver.
They don't have a first.
They don't have a first. Yep. So they could definitely be looking at O-line right here.
Let's see how much it would take. 71, right? That's what they are? 71?
Yep.
71 is worth 235. And then we'd be trading up from 85, which is worth, 165, really? 70?
See what 85 and 106 is, because PFF's saying that they would accept 85 and 106 for 71, which 106 is what we got from Jacksonville to trade down in the second round.
106 would be giving up too much, it says.
Okay, so they won't accept 158 alone, so we'd probably have to throw in 200 or 197 or 170. We might have to throw in both of our fifths.
158 is 28 and 170 is 23, so 50. Geez, what if we I wish they had another pick in between there.
Mm-hmm.
O-line is interesting for them here. I don't know. I mean, we could switch it up a little bit from last time and go a couple more picks. If the guy's still there, try to trade up. If he's gone, go with Strange again, and then the corner we want to trade up for.
Okay.
That's an option as well. So maybe let it run a couple picks. Maybe it's too much. We're okay with trading picks, but we also still want to keep some picks for the late rounds. The Patriots are not going to want to give up all their late round depth. So maybe go a few more picks, see if he's there.
All right, let's see. This is scary. Okay, Trey McBride, Petit Fier, Calvin Austin. That's a guy that I would have liked to have gotten.
Oh, okay.
We're good. That's a guy I would have liked to have gotten other than Mechie. I see some people saying in here Mechie or Calvin Austin in the second.
We haven't taken a receiver.
Haven't taken a receiver yet. So
okay, interesting.
Denver might be able to. They might want. So they're saying for 75, we'd move up 10 picks. We could also give them 158, which is what we just got in the DeVante Parker trade.
All right, so they need a corner. Ravens need D-line corner. Vikings need guard. So 77 would be the latest we could trade up, I think. Do we want to try to go to 77? See if he's there. And not let them pick, but go to 77.
And then try to trade with Minnesota.
Yeah.
All right. This is getting risky. So the tackle, Perrion Winfrey. So
we got, if we're going to trade up twice, we can either get Mechie, guard, corner. We got to pick two out of those three. So do we want to get a wide receiver? Do we want to get a guard and a corner? What two out of those three? What do we want to choose for that? I still think receiver is something the Patriots should grab.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it
depends. We can't see the board right now, so we don't know what receivers are still on the board. Obviously, we know Mechie's still on the board. We've been trying to trade down or trade up and get Parham this whole time. So I think that if we want to get a guard, I think that Parham can slide right in, be the starting left guard, and you could still probably get Mechie at 90. Or you can trade back up for him. The problem is now we took Mechie last time, so.
No, I know, but we still got to.
There's other prospects than Mechie that would fit in the third. That's why I think.
Okay, so let's see.
Well, I say we just make this trade. We need to see who's on the board. And if we want to take Parham, we take him.
Which trade did you make? Oh, did you make it? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So we traded 158, which is what we got for Shaq Mason, and we moved up 8 picks.
77, 205. What did we trade? Which picks?
158 and 85.
85 and 158.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
How close was it? Close or far? Did we get fleeced?
We got more value than they did by a little bit. Okay. Not bad. Pretty close. Close enough. All right, so let's look at the board. What do we got for receivers?
So obviously Parham's there. If you're looking at receiver, Shakir, Mechie, Dubs, David Bell's a guy. Wan'Dale Robinson, someone that people have talked about a lot. Kevin Austin Jr. is a bigger body receiver. There's options here. We are right at John Mechie's average draft position, so it would be a little risky if we're not taking him here and hoping
He's
that he
not going to be
slides.
there at 90. This is where it gets tough. I don't really care because I know we're going to be making different picks. I don't care if we take Mechie as a duplicate of last draft. I think Mechie's a great option here, especially if he's there at 77. I think that's pretty good value. Wando Robinson's interesting. He's got speed. I think he's got more short area quickness. It seems like he's got more burst than top end speed. Like you could see some guys catching him once when he was like at full speed, but he's got great burst, like initial burst off the line. I think it'd be interesting to see where he fits in this offense. I like a guy like Calvin Austin and Sky Moore more than a guy like Wando Robinson for the fit. So that's interesting.
I would like David Bell. I think David Bell in the third is a very good option.
Didn't he test awful? Was that Bell?
No, I think you're thinking Jahan Dotson out of Penn State, right?
No, I don't think so. I think wasn't it David Bell? Didn't he test absolutely horrible at the combine and his pro day? Like he looked.
Ran a 4.65.
Yikes!
I don't even know. Did Wandale Robinson go to the combine? No, I don't think he did.
I don't think so.
Oh no, he did. No,
he did.
No, he did. He ran a 4.44.
Yeah. Out of these receivers, the only guy that I'd be interested in taking, like, I think is Mechie. Khalil Shakir is interesting as well. But
yeah, Shakir was really impressive.
Yeah, he tested really well
for his size at 6 foot. What he tested, he'd be another guy that I would not mind taking either.
Yeah, we need a guard. I personally think the Patriots feel confident they could take a guard in the 5th round and find somebody good. I mean, they took Mike Onwenu in the 6th round, and he's phenomenal. Yeah, I hate that we got to choose, but we got to pick between those 3: Mechie, a guard. I mean, Cole Strange is still there too. I don't know. We can change it up. We can go Parham, and then trade back up. And
I think that the guard that we'd be targeting right here, if we don't take Parham here, is going to be Donovan West. He's had experience playing most of the interior and center positions at Arizona State. Cole Strange is a guy that fits. We took him last time too. Luke Fortner, not horrible. He is a big, time center, 6'6", 300 pounds. Probably his body's almost more of a guard, or more of a tackle. Sorry. So I don't know. I don't like any of these guards more than Parham, but you could get away with taking a Donovan West or a Cole Strange.
Yeah, I'm okay with those two. Yeah, I think Onwenu will play right guard. So left guard is the position we're looking. Patriots might wait till round 5 to take a wide receiver. I hope I like Mechie a lot. His connection with Mac, even with the injury, I think it's a good value spot for him. So that's why I'd be okay taking him in round 3. But I think we need to add a receiver who's going to be here past 2023 because we don't have anybody under contract. Do we expect this guard to be a starter or depth? I think Parham could step right in and start at left guard for us day one.
The only other one that would step in is Cole Strange and be a starter day one. All these other guys are depth. That's why I don't like taking them in the 3rd, because when you're talking 3rd, you're talking about a guy that can come in and make an immediate impact. So unless we take Parham or we're super high on letting Cole Strange fall to us at 90, I don't think guard here is the move.
So what are you feeling?
Well, we traded that. We wanted to move up this whole time for Parham, so that's still on the top of my mind.
Yeah.
If we want to grab a receiver like we've always wanted to, I'd be fine taking any of these guys, honestly. If David Bell tested horrible, Wandale Robinson has his, weaknesses. John Mechie, everyone seems to love. I wouldn't mind Khalil Shakir, Romeo Dubs. I'm fine with whatever. I made the last call taking Tyndall, so I'll let you guys
What do you
or I'll
guys
let
think?
you.
What do you guys think in the comments? In the comments, type if you guys want Mechie or you want to take a guard here. Crispy Bullet says Mechie's the move. Wide receiver, get the future wide receiver. Yeah, I mean we were thinking about trading up for the guard the whole time here. So out of the three positions we're thinking, wide receiver, corner, guard. Which of those two do you think is the most important? I think guard we need. And I really like the corner that we're thinking about, but I think Mechie's good too. Mechie or Parm, yeah, that's kind of what we're deciding between right here. Let's see. Mechie's the move. Shakir or guard for something different. See wide receiver is ideal. Trent Brown injury concerns. We need a starting guard. Shakir. Yeah, Watson is gone at this point. He's not here, so that's not an option. Let's see. You know what? Let's switch it up. Let's go with Parm. He was who we were going to trade up for the whole time. We'll do that, and I guess we'll do that. It's fine.
Okay, let's take him. Do we
Mechie's
want to try
probably
to
gone
trade
here.
up for a receiver, or do we want to just let it roll until 90?
I think we should trade back up, but let's just go a few picks and just see how it goes.
If Mechie falls to what pick? Oh, never mind.
There he goes. All right, let's.
So now the receivers you're looking at: Khalil Shakir. If you want to take Wan'Dale Robinson, do you want to pause it and?
Yeah, pause it here. So
I don't see a receiver getting taken before us. If you look at the draft needs, Buffalo already took Olave right in the first round. So
what about McCollum? Do you want to trade up and get him here?
double dip at corners.
I certainly think we could use it.
Yeah.
What do you think's worse, our corner depth or our wide receiver depth right now?
Corner, 1,000%. And even with Andrew Booth, it's still probably corner.
I think McCollum has a lot of potential. So I wouldn't mind him. And then, I mean, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 7 more picks, and we're in the third round right now. So we could trade up a few picks here for probably a late round pick, get McCollum, and then trade back up for a wide receiver who's falling.
Okay, I like it. So we're gonna trade up here, or we're gonna go to 90. Sorry.
No, let's stay here. I think trade up for corner. I don't know if he's gonna be at 90. He wasn't at. He was gone at 85 last time.
So they're saying.
I don't think we have to give up that much, do we?
They're saying 90 and 200 to move up 5 to 85.
Let me see. 85. I should know this. I just looked at 85 a minute ago. All right, 165.
I do kind of agree with some of the chat. They're saying that they think McCollum will fall to 5 more picks. It's risky.
Our last mock draft that we did, we took Cole Strange at 85. McCollum was off the board.
Yeah.
Right?
So we're pretty much getting back our original pick because 85 is what we traded to Minnesota.
Let me see. McCollum. All right. We can try it. We can try it.
I think there's going to be other corners on the board too.
All right.
It's risky. I'm So there's Strange, where we took him last time. Shakir. So there's our probably top receiver. McCollum. Nope. Donovan West. So we stand pat. He falls.
I think we take him here.
So, yes, I agree. Other than the only other guy that would entice me here is Tyreek Woolen. I think that his athletic ability and the way he tested. God.
If the Patriots could get a hold of that, and he's a very raw athlete, but if you can refine some of his tools and his ability, I think the Patriots getting their hands on him, that would be scary.
So would you rather take Woolen or McCollum here?
I think
'Cause-
McCollum. I like McCollum a lot. Woolen's more of a risky project. I think McCollum, um, he's got good size and athleticism. I think McCollum would be the pick here. Woolen is interesting if he fell, which after his 40 time and his speed and some of the athleticism he has, I don't know if he will, but I like McCollum more than Woolen. But it would be cool if the Patriots could get their hands on him.
Okay. We're going to take McCollum here. Now, I think that we can let it play out to 106.
Yeah. Well,
and then we're going to need to I think that we got to close the gap between 158 and 106. I think you got to get another late 4th or 5th rounder right there.
What's the wide receiver board look like? Like, is there anybody that we'd want to trade up in the next 10 picks for that we wouldn't want to wait till 106?
Probably not. Wandale Robinson would probably be the top one, and then Romeo Doubs out of Nevada. And then probably the guy for me would be either Kevin Austin or Bo Melton.
Bo Melton's interesting too from Rutgers. Kyle Phillips is interesting from UCLA. Yeah, okay, we'll pick McCollum here, and then we'll let it run. You can go to the speed, change that up a little bit.
Okay, McCollum. Let's get going a little. Wandale comes off. James Cook. There's Woolen. There's Doubs. Marcus Jones, who New England had a top 30 visit with. David Bell, Najee Sanders. So receiver board looking pretty thin right now. Not thin, but guys that you don't need to take right now. If you're talking about other positions that New England needs, interior defensive line is something that they've talked about. Right here.
Too.
Tackle. I think that both Matthew Butler and Nealon Farrell Jr. are interesting. That would probably play more of a true one technique nose guard compared to Barmore. The other ones, what was the position you said?
Tackle.
Zach Tom. Yep. He's
from
a guy.
Wake Forest. I think that's an interesting option too. We can probably wait a little longer on him. I don't think he's a right now thing, but I think he's certainly a guy that we could look at for our next, if we split the gap between 158 and 106, I think he'd be a good option.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, previous picks we've made, we traded back a few picks, got Andrew Booth, and then we traded back in the second round again. Who do we get?
Channing Tindall, Georgia's linebacker.
Then we got a guard.
Dylan Parham from Memphis.
Yep. And then we
traded
Zion
back
McCollum.
up for Zion McCollum. So we've double dipped at corners. We've taken a linebacker and a guard, and we're looking now for a receiver. Now it's not going to be a top receiver, but there's interesting guys that we're looking to trade up for, and then, maybe solidifying the offensive line with some depth pieces.
Yeah, there's not a lot of options. I would have taken Robinson if he was here, probably. Why not? He's got some good tools. Kyle Phillips, like I said, is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But we probably can wait on him too, it's the thing.
For sure.
Do you like anybody at this spot? You got your eye on anybody? Safety's an option too.
Safety is an option. The one that we took last time we did was Leon O'Neal Jr. The other one's Marquise Bell out of Florida A&M. He's going to fall. He's going to be there. We don't need to take him now. Safety is probably a spot we can hold and wait on.
Yeah.
We probably don't want to take a third corner. I do like Cam Taylor Britt. The other thing that we didn't do last time, well, we did. Didn't we take Idaho's Noah Ellis?
No.
I thought we did. We talked about him, right? Maybe we didn't take him.
Yeah, we didn't take him. We talked about it. I got our list right here who we took.
So I think that now you're looking at a defensive tackle that could play opposite Barmore and, replace Lawrence Guy or someone in the coming years. If you're talking about a big dude, Nealon Farrell out of LSU, 6'4", 325, was a 3-star coming out of high school. I don't think that he's a super impactful guy right off the bat, but he's got the size that can come in and maybe take some reps away from Lawrence Guy. Yeah,
that we definitely need a run stopping interior player. So if there's somebody you like here, I'm good with that. Outside of that, wide receiver, we're going to wait on. Tackle, we're going to wait on a little bit. Running back, we don't need to get right now. This is kind of the interesting spot. Deep cut for receiver.
How many times have I told you this, Cole? Devin Tompkins.
Is that the guy that you were telling me is the next Julian Edelman, or is that somebody else?
No, that's Britton Covey.
Okay,
Dude, he ran a 4.42 today at his pro day.
Yeah, it was his dad was definitely doing the timer right there.
So
he absolutely was.
Yeah, no,
that was actually a 5.4.
Devin Tompkins is a dude from Utah State that I've compared. I don't want to compare him to Tyreek Hill because I don't think he is Tyreek Hill, but he had 1,800 receiving yards this year, 20 plus touchdowns. He can return kicks. He can return punts. He legitimately, I think if he were to run a 40, and I don't know when their pro day is, he obviously didn't make the combine. I think he would maybe get low 4.3s, possibly 4.2. That's how fast he is. He's legitimate speed.
Wow.
So that's a guy, and I think we talked about him last time too, possibly taking him in the last couple rounds, but I don't think we did.
No, we didn't take him last time. We the only receiver we took was Mechie last time.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's all we took last time.
We're probably going to get one receiver this time. So there's a couple other people in here talking about nose tackles. So let's just go look at some of them. John Ridgway out of Arkansas is what one of them said, but he's going to be here late. The other guy that kind of we saw go off the board last time, Haskell Garrett out of Ohio State, 6'2", 300 pounds. Big guy. So I like D-line here. If I'm going to guy, I'm going Nealon Farrell unless we want to wait and go Noah Ellis, Haskell Garrett, John Ridgway, one of those guys out of that could be here later.
Let's do Farrell. Let's do it. We got plenty of picks. We don't have to worry about reaching a few picks. It's fine.
And then we're gonna what pick do we want to pause on and try to trade back up? And what position are you thinking of targeting?
I think wide receiver and tackle at some point in here.
Let's see. We're still not up. I'm gonna stop it when we're 25 picks before us.
Oh, Kobe Bryant. That would have been interesting.
Take it in 3 corners.
Yeah, we don't need no.
Okay, let's pause.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, pause it. Off. That's
okay,
Phillips.
so
That would have been interesting.
I didn't see any of the receivers we talked about. The Bo Melton, some of those guys coming off the board.
Bo Melton, we can probably still
wait on.
Maybe. Yeah, I would hate for Bo Melton to be our only receiver. He's. I feel like more of a special teams kind of player. I don't know. There's no great impact receivers that I see right now. As a Chargers fan, there's zero chance we take 2 wide receivers as our first 2 picks. That makes no sense. Yeah, we're not taking every pick. This is just PFF's mock. We're only picking for the Patriots. So I don't know I'm not sure where you saw that, but that would absolutely make no sense. Roondog, what's up? How's it going? Projects is a really good guard. Yeah, that was one of the guys we were talking about, Zach Tom.
Is he still on the board?
I think so.
If he's still on the board, that's a guy that I wouldn't mind trading up and getting.
Yeah,
plays both. He could play both guard and tackle. I think that maybe you're looking at Tampa Bay's needs right here and San Francisco's. This might be a spot where he comes off.
I'd be down to trade up and take him.
So let's see. If we give him 158 and what else are we going to have to throw in? 200? Or is that too much?
158 and 200, let me see. Well, for 133 is worth 39.5. 158 is worth 28.2, which leaves us with 11.3. So 200. Yeah, that's perfect.
So make this trade, take Zach Tom.
Yep. He's another guy that he almost projects more as a interior offensive lineman than a tackle, but
he has experience playing tackle, which we know is good.
Yeah, exactly.
If we need to move him, we all know the injury history between both Isaiah Wynn and Trent Brown. So having a guy that's experienced like that.
Also, if you want Parham and Tom to play your 2 guards and kick Mike Onwenu out to right tackle if somebody's hurt, I think that's a interesting pick here. And then I think we either trade back up a little bit and get a receiver, or we might not have the opportunity with our picks left. But I'm okay with that.
Let's offer this trade. It's what we want to do. Take Zach Tom, which
I like it.
I think we're getting pretty good value for him here. And then I'll pause it again. So we're not up for 63 picks.
It's a lot of picks.
That's a lot of picks. So you can either let this roll and we'd have 197, 204, 210, or you can trade two of those, get up into like the 160s, 150 range, 170s maybe, and then you'd still probably have one more.
How many picks have we used so far? Do you know?
Right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've taken 6 picks. Right. So Booth at 26, Tyndall at 65, Parham at 77, at 90 we took McCollum, 106 we took drawing a blank. Oh, Neil Farrell Jr. out of LSU, and then we just took Zach Tom. So if you're looking 2 corners, a linebacker, a guard, / tackle, a defensive lineman.
The highest value wise we can trade up to is like about 170, high 160s, low 170s. If we trade 197 and 204, which I'm okay with, you want to move up a little bit and then just take 2 more picks.
Yeah, and I did see a comment in here. Still need an edge defender. That's a position that we definitely probably need, and we know Bill loves taking. So if there's a guy there that you want to take at the edge, I think that's something that you could definitely look at.
Edge is interesting. Wide receiver, pass catching, running back. I think those are the 3.
So I think I'm going to pause it around 175 and just see who's there, what we can get.
Do
I'll let it roll.
like 170 because that would be where we could trade to.
Boop. Oh, 158. I couldn't see it for a minute there. Okay, so 170. We're here right now. Green Bay's on the clock.
It stinks that you can't see who's on the board.
I know.
Because we could trade up and then say, okay, there's nobody we want here.
Yeah. And that's the thing is you're going to trade up. You're not going to know who's on the board until you trade up.
Yeah, which is tough. Okay, so they didn't think we were picking for the Chargers. Just mentioning it, whoever's picking them is ruining the accuracy. Yeah, it's so weird. The PFF mock, like, we did a mock the other day, and it had the Detroit Lions taking a quarterback back-to-back picks. Like their first 2-3 picks were quarterbacks, which that was what it was, right? Was it Detroit?
They at 32 and 34, I think they went like Corral and Ritter. So they pretty much just said, "F you guys, we're not messing this up."
Yeah, we're gonna take 2.
We're gonna take both of them, and we're gonna get one of them right. So,
enjoying the video, by the way. Great job. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Enjoy JC Jackson. He's great.
Yes. Oh God. Yeah. Thanks for taking JC from us. Unbelievable. No, the Chargers are gonna be really good this year. That's gonna be a fun team to watch. Like if the Patriots have a bye week and I'm picking one team to watch, it might be the Chargers. Like they're gonna be exciting. Still need edge, yes. Realistically, how many times will Bill trade down? Probably every pick. And Bill will just acquire the entire 7th round of draft capital. So we'll have 32 7th round draft picks, and hopefully we hit on some of them. Mechie in the second might be a reach. Late second, I'd be okay taking Mechie early 3rd. Edge is a bigger need than defensive tackle to me because Van Noy's gone. It's certainly concerning, but also look how many edge players they've taken in recent years. I mean, they've thrown so many darts at that board and have not hit on a single one. Like Winovich, no. Uche, no.
I think you got to hope Ronnie Perkins turns into something this year.
You really
Uche continues to develop as a pass rusher, and you have to play around him on run downs. But yeah.
So I think defensive interior is certainly a need. I feel better about their chances of taking a guy there than edge, just they haven't had success recently. But edge, I think both are positions of need. So I think taking an edge player somewhere in this range, edge, wide receiver, and like I said, pass catching running back. Also, punter, Matt Ariza is an option too. We're not going to take him this mock. We did it last mock, but there's plenty of options here. Bo Melton, maybe they want to take Bo Melton. Maybe we take edge and Bo Melton, and then running back, they take an undrafted guy or wide receiver or whatever. So trade Nikhil, that would give us another pick here. You're fired. Awful draft. All right, thanks. We're fired, Jace. We got to end it here. What
I
potential
want
do you
to
see in
know.
Booth?
I want to know what draft he would like to see. I mean, some Patriots fans think it's realistic to get Burks, Olave, Garrett Wilson,
All in the first 4
all
rounds.
all in the first couple rounds. So you got to be realistic here. You might not like the draft, but shit, be real with yourself on what the Patriots actually need and not what you want. So it sucks. I think we all would wish that Olave would be the number 1 pick, but this team has way more needs than what they need to do. So
Yeah. It's also it's hard to tell if this guy's kidding or not because it's over
I know.
a comment. So I
Yeah,
have no idea.
I'm just saying I've seen so many people in
yeah.
my comments section anytime. Like, I don't think New England goes guard in the first round. The recent mock draft I just did had me trading back, and I took Zion Johnson just to give a perspective. And the amount of messages and the amount of people I got saying, why the hell would we take a guard? We'll just enjoy being 4 and 11. Like, I get it. It's not the flashy pick, but people take guards every year. And if they turn into Quentin Nelson, then no one's complaining about him. So it's not my first choice, but I think that what we're doing here is trying to give you guys a perspective on all the prospects, because honestly, we probably couldn't be farther away from what New England's going to do. If Bill Belichick were to watch this video, which he never will, he'd probably be like, these guys know nothing. I'm going to take a Division III guy with pick 21. That's what he's going to be saying. So
yeah, these are the comments I love right here from Love HOF. This one especially as well. There we go. I like it. Tyndall was a steal without a doubt. He's better than Dean, to be honest. I think maybe in this system, I mean, the fit might be better. Zion's gone. Take Job. We got McCollum. Job is off the board now too. First round ranks Booth, Dean, Penning. I like Booth a lot. Like we talked about, Nakobe Dean, kind of repetitive a little bit of what we kind of already have here. Penning, I honestly wouldn't be that upset with Penning. We need a tackle too, so that's interesting. It's not flashy, like you said. Guard. If we draft a guard in the first round and he turns out to be the top 10, top 5 guard in the league his first few years, like that's obviously worth the pick. I understand people saying this team has a lot more needs than just guard. You know what I mean? Like the Chiefs last year, they were able to take an interior offensive lineman early because they don't have a lot of holes on their team. They just went to the Super Bowl. This team needs a lot of things. Defense, we need corner, interior, edge. We need wide receiver. We do need guard as well, tackle. I mean, this team needs a lot of different things. So I understand people not wanting a guard in the first round, but shoot, if it's a good player, it's a good player.
For sure. Gabe's doing his trade down thing in the chat, just like he did with
Gabe,
Evan
you gonna rate us with trade downs?
Oh no!
Oh, here he goes. Jeez,
guys, we're seeing it in the chat. They want N'Keal Harry traded to Green Bay right here, and PFF says this will do it. Which, if you think about it, this is what we traded Shaq Mason for. So I don't know if N'Keal Harry has this type of value, but do you want to throw N'Keal Harry into this and maybe give him 210?
Why not?
Or 204 or something?
210. Well, 210.
210?
Get him out of here.
Get him out.
He's gone. N'Keal Harry.
Everyone, wait, before we click offer trade, because there's no going back. So we need a deep, heartfelt message in the chat for everything N'Keal Harry has done for this team.
Yes.
And
are you sure want him as a blocker? Like N'Keal Harry, one of the elite NFL blocking wide receivers, dominant. He's an animal. Are you guys sure you want to trade N'Keal Harry? I mean, you never know. Should he have one more chance? Dear N'Keal. All right, that's a good start. Gabe, he's an animal. Enough said. That's great. Oh, dear
Thanks
N'Keal.
For nothing. Get him out.
All right. Trade animal.
Keep him coming, guys. He was such a good first round pick for us. I know everyone wants him gone, but once he's gone, everyone's gonna be sad.
Good point here. No, he's our swing tackle. He could be our left tackle of the future. I like it, guys. All right. Couple good heartfelt messages there.
So, well, let's do it. He's off the roster.
There he goes.
So do we want to target a receiver here since we just traded one? I think if Bo Melton's still on the board, he's not. Oh, wait, I'm on. Wait, sorry. Bo Melton's still on the board. I clicked on the running backs. So do we want to take Bo Melton, the Rutgers connection here?
Real quick, did you see Gabe's post about N'Keal Harry with Kendrick Bourne and all those guys meeting up, and it said the thing about Nikhil. Oh, I can't remember exactly what the quote was, but he was basically saying Nikhil was like, "Where's my invite?" And Kendrick Bourne reposted on his story.
Yes.
That was hilarious.
Gabe's trolling him so hard.
It was so funny. I can't believe Kendrick Bourne posted that. That was funny.
Yeah,
That's
funny. So, do we want to look receiver here?
Yeah, I'm good with Bo Melton. I'm good with. Some people want Slade Bolden. I'm fine with that too. I don't care. Either one of those guys is fine.
What's Slade's ADP? Slade's 232, so we'd be taking him 50 picks earlier than right here. So if we really want to take Slade, we can take him with our last pick. Yeah. Let's take Bo Melton here. We got the Rutgers connection. We just got rid of N'Keal Harry.
Check edge real quick. What do we got at edge?
That's a good point.
DeVante Parker has been here less than a week and put in more work than N'Keal.
Ooh, see, there's a couple guys I do like here too. Adam Anderson's a guy. He probably could make it to 197. Jeffrey Gunther out of Coastal Carolina. I took him in one of my mocks on my Instagram page. I don't think he's fallen to 197. So there might be better value here at the end position, but that's our choice. So
let's go edge.
Okay.
Let's go edge, and then we'll see where we're at next pick. If Melton's on the board still, we'll take him. If not, we'll take Slade with our last pick.
Okay, let's take Adam Anderson. I see Paper Wave saying it here. He's a Georgia guy. We love Georgia defenders. So they're elite. So I've taken Jeffrey Gunther before, and I think that he has something to him. But let's go Anderson here. We'll let it roll to 197 and then try to grab our receiver.
We might have to take Slade Bolden because we have not taken an Alabama player this draft.
Oh, that can't happen.
That's just not going to – Bill Belichick's not going to not take somebody from Bama.
Well, if we take Slade Bolden, we can get him at 204.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Do we want to look at running back? I know we've talked about a running back being a possible option. I don't think that there's many good options here that would come in and replace Damien Harris if he were to leave next year. So, what are you thinking on the running backs?
Pass catching back is fine. I'm okay with that. Running back I'm fine with.
The best pass catching back available, Max Borghi out of Washington State. But I mean, are we really? The one guy I do like, I will say, Abram Smith ran super hard for Baylor. I think that he made that run game going. They won the Big 12 and then went on to play in a hell of a game against Oklahoma State. So I think he would be a true third down back. At least could develop into a true third down back. If you're talking pass catcher, I think last time someone said Borghi's Danny Woodhead 2.0.
Yeah, somebody did say that. What do you think about this trade, though? Belichick for Saban and a first?
We're getting a first?
Yep.
Yeah. Why not?
We're getting a first from Alabama.
And Saban. Okay.
So does that mean we get the first overall pick, or we get
that means we get the first Alabama player taken, right? That'd be my guess. So Jameson Williams or
I'm good with that. Borghi for CJ Verdell.
Yeah, CJ Verdell out of Oregon.
Couple options there from the comments. I'm fine. Yep. I'm fine with either. We running back here, Slade Bolden with the last pick. I'm fine with that.
Okay, let's go Borghi right here. And I think everyone knows Slade Bolden's coming last. You guys prophesied it. He's probably the worst receiver in this draft. Just kidding.
Slade, he's right there.
I know. I was just seeing who else. Yep. So Slade Bolden. People are talking Devin Tompkins. I like him too. I think Devin Tompkins probably, honestly, if New England doesn't take Slade Bolden, he goes undrafted too. And then you're just looking at New England picking him up too. So
Paper Waves likes Devin Tompkins.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do. And I'm high on Tompkins too. His speed is intriguing. And like I said, if he goes undrafted, I would bounce on that if I was New England. They hosted him as one of their first meetings, I believe. He was a super early meeting. Let me see if I think I have it right here.
That was at the combine, right?
Yep. He College Gridiron Showcase was when he did the meeting.
Okay.
So that was before Senior Bowl. That was before Pro Day. That was before anything. So they met with him. They did meet with Britton Covey. They did meet with Slade Bolden. They've met with a lot of these, kind of meme type of receivers that Patriots fans want to take. But I'm fine. Let's take Slade Bolden here. It's what the fans want. We'll make you guys happy. And then that will be the end unless we want to trade a future first for pick 218.
That's probably a good value trade right there. Damn, no 7th round pick, huh?
Yeah. So
interesting.
No seventh rounder.
I like our draft there. I think there's some good options for like undrafted too. Maybe a tight end who can play fullback.
Damn, they were hitting us with the D's. You guys were lying to us. You said freaking Adam Anderson. They gave us a D for that one.
What'd they give our first picks? Our first few picks.
So they gave us a B- on the total one. They gave us a B- on the trade. Andrew Booth at 26 was an A. They gave us another B on the Jacksonville trade. I think that we both agreed. Tyndall right here with Troy Anderson still on the board. That's who we would have went. We went with Troy. Yeah. We went with Troy Anderson last time, so we switched it up. I still love Tyndall. Now this is our trade up. They gave us a C, and then they gave us a B taking Parham.
They gave us bad grades for the trades because you can get more value than realistic on PFF.
On PFF, 100%.
But the actual trade chart, which is more realistic for actual NFL trades, 100%. That's what we used. So we could have gotten more value for our picks on PFF, but it wouldn't have been realistic. Like I messed around with it last year just to see how many good picks I could acquire, and it's ridiculous some of the value you can get for some of the picks for teams that want your pick. I think it's improved a little bit this year, but it's still not as realistic as some of the.
They didn't even grade the N'Keal Harry trade. It was so good.
They did, yeah. They didn't. Their jaw dropped that we.
They were
absolutely
shocked that we gave up N'Keal Harry for a 5th round pick. Or no, what we gave up N'Keal Harry in a 6th, and we got a 5th. They're like, what? You only wanted a 5th? Like, what can I say?
They were shocked. They didn't know what to do.
I know. So,
I like this draft. I don't know which one do you like better, our first one or this one?
Jeez, I got to say the first one.
I do too.
I think that this isn't a bad draft. We were more aggressive. I think what we mistaked last time, if we could have traded up last time and gotten Zion McCollum or one of those guys in the 4th, like we wanted
that
to,
draft would have been perfect.
It would have been perfect. But we were more aggressive this time. I think New England had a little bit more movement than what I would like. I agree with the 1st round pick. Now we already had gained an extra 3rd and an extra 6th round pick for moving down. Maybe the trade down from 54 wasn't realistic, and you just grab Troy Anderson or someone there. But I think there's good players in this draft that can. Andrew Booth, we took him last time. I think Tyndall's a guy that can come in, make a immediate impact with his speed. Parham could probably slide in and play guard right away because of our lack of depth there. McCollum's another developmental guy that we just added to the back end of the cornerback group and can develop into something with his freakishly good testing numbers. So I like who we took here. I think if you're telling me to grade the drafts off of last weeks that we did too, I'm taking last week's.
I am too. I also like. I think the big factor that played into why last week's was good too. Andrew Booth, we got to trade back to 29, so we got more value from him. We got an extra late 2nd, I think. So we got to take John Mechie and a linebacker that we liked, and still we got Cole Strange. We almost got McCollum. We could have if we traded up for him. I think the last one we do. I don't know. I don't know how many more of these we're going to do before the draft, but our last one, we're not going to care about repeat picks. We're not going to care about changing it up. We're just going to do what we think would be the absolute best and go from there. And I think that one will probably end up being our best one out of all these. But I don't think we just drafted for depth. Andrew Booth is going to start. I think Tyndall could start. Parham is going to start. I think McCollum has a lot of potential.
McCollum would get significant minutes. If McCollum was on this team, he would get significant time. I would want him to get probably more time than Butler, because you're talking about Malcolm Butler might be more ready now, but you're talking Zion McCollum would be the future guy. He's someone that you're developing. So I think you look at this draft, the first 4 picks aren't probably for depth. Those are guys that you expect.
I think those guys should contribute. The first 3 especially should contribute on day 1. McCollum has an opportunity to contribute early, and especially year 2. I think that's when he'll really jump off if we got him. But
the other one that you mentioned too, Zach Tom, if there's an injury that happens, he has experience at both guard and tackle, and someone that probably projects better as a guard. He could come in due to injuries and start right away and, be a plug and play guy. So I think that there's plenty of guys on here that aren't just depth pieces.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a solid draft. Not as good as last one, because we wanted to change things up. We wanted to make it a little different for you guys, go over some different prospects. We don't want to just keep doing the same draft over and over again. Double dipping at corner would be a good move. I agree. I think we need corner. Even if we take one first round, I think taking one later in the draft is smart. And a guy like McCollum with his talent, that's hard to pass up. So I love that pick for the Pats. I think he's a good fit.
For sure. Well, what are we 3 weeks away from the draft?
We are 22 days.
So
yeah,
3 weeks away. So I think next week we've talked about doing a full first round mock draft, just, picking for every team, thinking who maybe that's next week. Maybe we do another 7 round mock draft 2 weeks before the draft, or the week before the draft, that we think is totally realistic. And like you kind of said, don't worry about repeats, just grab what you think's the best and do whatever you want there. And then the week of the draft will have, a ton of content and obviously the live stream. But I think that you can plan on at least one more 7 round mock draft from us and a full first round one.
Yeah, probably 1 or 2. Thanks for this guy. Davy Jones, anytime. Anytime.
Jones's locker.
I'm thinking Sauce for our first pick. If he's there, yeah, but he's not going to be there. He might be a top 8 pick. He might be top 10.
The other one that people were saying was going to fall was Derek Stingley. If you guys saw his pro day today, he ran a 4.37.
Yeah,
he ain't falling.
That's done. He's not falling.
He might get picked. He might picked over Sauce after that time. Like I still love Sauce and I love Stingley both, but a 4.37 that time might propel him to the first corner taken.
Yeah, that certainly helped. Those 2 top corners aren't falling anywhere near us. Real quick, if you guys have any ideas that you want to see us do, like for a short video, for a live stream, if you want us to make a certain type of live stream or video before the draft, drop it in the comments of this video or some video. Just drop your guys' ideas if any pop in your head. If you say, oh, I'd like to see them talk about this, we get a live Q&A, full first round mock draft, another 7 round mock draft. We could switch things up. We could do a SEC only draft. We could do no trades. We can do a bunch of different things. We could do, if the Patriots trade up, which I don't think is going to happen. But if you guys have any creative ideas that you want to see us do, just feel free to drop them, because we'll absolutely look at all those and take those into consideration and try to come up with some creative ideas for you guys that you want to see, because we want to keep bringing you guys fresh stuff and try not to repeat too much. So right now, obviously the draft's coming up. There's not a ton of new news. The Parker news was good for us. But I'm excited for the draft. I can't wait. It can't come soon enough, because after that, we're going to that week before the draft and then the draft show. I'm so excited for that. That's going to be awesome, hanging out with you guys, watching the draft together. That's going to be fun. And then after that, we're going to be covering all the players and getting to talk about that. So I'm excited. But yeah, if you guys have any ideas for videos, any ideas for live streams, you want to see us do a Q&A, any ideas for anything, just drop them in the comments and let us know for sure.
Yeah, we're always open to suggestions. Something I thought of, and I actually saw this the other day. I think PFF was doing a mock draft. We need to figure out, I know you can put polls in the chat.
Yeah, I tried to look that up real quick before we did this. I didn't see anything recent.
So maybe we'll do a full 7 round mock draft and just throw polls in the chat.
Let you guys have the chat pick.
Something.
That would be cool.
We'll give you 4 options, like, whether it's trade down, take one of the 3 players, let you guys maybe, have more say in it. And we're just kind of on the, administration side of it. So we'll look into, improving the stream. And I think that someone in here says remaining free agents. That's definitely one that we've talked about. There's still some guys out there that New England could go sign. Trey Flowers, that's for sure. We're probably going to get out to you guys our position rankings before the draft and the clips coming up. Our top 5 guys at each position that we think New England could realistically draft. And, other ideas like that. So like, subscribe, comment, make sure you guys are staying up to date with us, because who said it right here? I'm going to butcher your name. Bardomatic. Maybe that's how it is. Draft hype is in full swing. Let's fucking go. I agree. I mean, it's for us, it's been in full swing for 3 months since the Patriots got beat out, but it's realistic now. We're in the month of April and it's coming up. So I'm excited.
Yeah, me as well. Well, that's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you again for all the support recently, especially on the last couple of videos and mocks. It's been great hanging out with you guys. So keep supporting, keep subscribing, liking all the videos, turn on post notifications, all that good stuff. We're going to have some clips coming out for you guys later this week, early next week, and then doing another live next week on Tuesday, I believe. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys again for all the support. Rune Dog, Paper Waves, Gabe, everybody who's been here.
Gabe, stop with the Desmond Ritter crap. We got our quarterback.
Yeah, we got Mac. We're fine. Gabe, we don't need Desmond Ritter. That's all right. No, but yeah, thank you guys for the support. That's going to be it for today, and we will talk to you guys later.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Patriots Drive podcast. Follow us on social media to stay up to date with all things New England Patriots. Make sure you tune in to the next episode and check out patriotsdrive.com for more great content.
We're on to Cincinnati.